Hi, this is Tori from Hobby Stories. I'm going to be doing this video. It's going to be a stitch with me. I'm going to be trying to do different projects for each one. And while I am stitching, I am also going to be answering questions from FlossTube tags. The links to the tags will be below in the description box. And you'll also have a description of what I'm actually stitching that day. Sometimes there'll be more than one tag. It depends how long it is. And I'll let you know when each tag changes so that you know what I'm talking about. And it'll be in the description and the title. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this one is the chaotic tag. First posted in 2015 by MN Chaos. It is also 10 questions. First question, what is your culture heritage? Where are your ancestors from? Let's see, my ancestors, mine are either Scottish or Irish. And but as far as back as I can remember, we don't know anybody that actually came from there. We're just, most of my family is from the South. They were in the Virginia area. So we're mostly Southern. What foods did you grow up eating? Southern foods. Although we lived up here in Pennsylvania and Delaware, so we eat a lot of scrapple. They used to eat squirrel. They ate oysters. I didn't. I said they. I grew up on that kind of stuff. My mom was a pretty good cook. My dad was too. And we had a lot of homemade food. We did not eat out very often. I didn't really eat out until we grew up and moved away. So we ate mostly like Southern foods that they grew up on. And as far as growing up with a particular set of beliefs or traditions, no, not really. Not in ours. Although my father's family was Baptist. But other than that, I mean, we weren't like really religious. We just knew we were Baptist. 2, do you make an effort to pass on the culture you grew up, or are you part of any counterculture, or are you more of an individualist? I'm an individual. I don't really follow anything like cultural from my family. I cook some of the things that my mom cooked. But no, not really. I'm more individual. I just kind of do what I do. 3, is there a social issue or cause that you are passionate about? Well, I think everyone deserves to be treated equal. Everyone has a voice and it should be heard. Everybody deserves fairness, no judging, because everybody is who they are, and I just want everything to be equal. You know, no one's better than anybody else. 4, do you have a favorite style or aesthetic? Well, I was born in 1960, and I'm getting ready to turn 60. So I have seen the 60s and the 70s, and I like the stuff from the 60s and the 70s. So I guess it's more like retro. I don't know. I think that's what you call it. But really, my clothes and my hair, I just wear what is comfortable and look the way I want to look. So I don't really follow a style or anything, but I do like um, the look of the 60s and the 70s, if that's what that question means. 5. Do you somehow incorporate any of the above four answers into the choice of patterns you choose to stitch or design? If yes, how do you incorporate them? If no, would or wouldn't you want to? Why or why not? So let's see. As far as my culture and heritage, I don't think I've picked anything from Irish. Culture that I grew up with, no. Social issues, no. And favorite style, no. So I guess I don't. I would if I wanted to, but that's just not the patterns that I'm drawn to, so I don't think so. 6. If you were to stitch a person, who would it be? Does that mean like stitch like a portrait of a person? I don't think I want to do that. Mm-mm. No, no, I don't. I don't want to do that. So I don't have an answer for that one. 7. Do you know of a little known designer that you would like to let us know about? Hmm. No, because most of the things I pick up are either out of magazines or they already have a lot of reviews on like 123 Stitch or something like that. So pretty much they're out there already. I don't shop at like Etsy or on all those other places, so I wouldn't know that either. 8. What direction do you lay your top cross, and is there a reason for that? I always go, okay, so you got your square. I stitch on Ada. I start in the lower left, go up to the upper right, and then when I come back, it's lower right to upper left. I've always done it that way. That's how I learn. I think it's weird when I see it any other way, but like I said, that's how I learned, so I haven't tried any other way. I think the only time I've tried it is, no, even when I did half cross, they always seem to have the crosses going that way. Hmm. Yeah. 9. Are there any rules or popular methods that you don't follow in cross stitch and why? Well, I do cross country. A lot of people don't like that because of the floss being carried and stuff. Doesn't bother me. I use knots. I don't care because that's how I was taught. Mm, I've been stitching for over 40 years, so the things I do, pretty ingrained. Um, let's see, beading. I usually just use white, whatever color fabric, bead, whatever. I just use white to bead with. Doesn't bother me. Um, let's see. I usually do start in the middle. I don't know if that's a rule or not, but some of the projects I've just recently started, I started in the upper left because that's just the way the pattern is. Let's see, I'm trying to think of other rules. I don't know what you call it, it's traveling or whatever, where I have big long lines of floss. Yeah, especially if it's got confetti and stuff. So yeah, the back gets lumpy with your knots and your um, stretching your threads across and stuff like that. But like I said, it doesn't bother me. And 10, if someone were to find your FFOs or whip pile in 100 years, when you're long gone, what might they say or think about you? Well, that all depends. If they just look at mine and don't know what cross stitch is, they would go, wow, this girl likes flowers and cross stitching like different kinds of women, like fairies, angels, princesses, stuff like that. But if they already knew what cross stitch is, then they would probably go, wow, she's a messy stitcher. Because my stitches don't lay even. And if I make a mistake, well, this is probably on part 9. If I make a mistake with, like, instead of ripping the stitches out, I'll just adapt the rest of the pattern to it. If I put in the wrong color, sometimes I just stitch over that color. It makes it a little bit bumpier, but whatever. I'm just doing this because I like it. It's not going in a museum. It's not going in a show. I don't give it away. Whatever. I'll just stitch the way I want. And so what would they think about me? FFOs, they probably say, oh my gosh, where'd she get all the cardboard from? Because I put all my stuff on cardboard with sometimes staples, sometimes tape. And then I cover it with like that plastic, I don't know what you call it. Is it mylar? I don't know. That you go around gift baskets with, that clear plastic. Sometimes I use saran wrap, and because I can't afford to frame everything, and I don't want to make things into pillows and stuff like that. That's just going to get dirty or stained or whatever. And they might say, wow, she had a lot of time. Look at all the stuff she stitched. When really, I don't. I hardly stitch at all anymore. I used to spend all day stitching. I can't sit there like that anymore. They might think, wow, she had a lot of money. Which some of the stuff was given to me. A lot of the stuff was bought on sale. Some of the stuff is recycled. And probably over half of my projects come out of magazines, which have a ton of patterns in there. So, but yeah. And if they compare mine to other people's, then they will definitely say I'm a messy stitcher. And I'm not very good at it compared to some people that I've seen. But I don't know. I think they might like it. I've been told it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of money. But Coral tells me to do what I want to do, and if I love it, to do it. Do what makes me happy. And that's what I do. I stitch to make myself happy, and it doesn't matter what the rules or popular methods are or what anybody thinks about it. And that's a good thing to keep in mind is if you like what you're doing and it's not hurting anybody else, us cross stitching, so just go ahead and do it. Do it your way. And that's all of this one. Okay. This one is the stitching style tag. It's pretty big. It's 20 questions. 1. What is your favorite fabric? 14 count Aida, no doubt. 2. Do you use a hoop or a frame? Lately I've been into hoops. And second would probably be a Q-snap. And third would probably be a scroll frame. So that's the order. 3. Do you use a stand or just hold your frame? Both. I have a Lowry. I have an Edmonds. 2 Edmonds, actually. A Kay's lap stand. But lately I find that I've just been sitting in a chair and holding my hoop and stitching that way. 4. What is your favorite time to stitch? That would be after dinner. After all the dinner and the dishes are done, I grab a snack and I just sit down for like probably 2 hours, sometimes 3. It all depends on how fast I can get everything done. And just stitch. Just put something on to watch or listen to and stitch. So evening, before bed. 5. Do you use a printed paper copy or off your chart or digital? I've tried using digital. I used to use PDF Max, I think it was called. I have that on my Kindle Fire. And I have a Kindle tablet. It won't accept any of the apps for cross stitch. I do put charts on my laptop and use Paint Shop Pro to highlight things in there if I do digital. But mostly I just print them out because I need to have them enlarged. Now I do like that if it's digital that you can enlarge them on the thing, on the device. But I also like just having the chart right beside me. So I do print them out too. So I use both. 6, are you a floss licker? Definitely. Who isn't? 7, do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? Well, that depends on your definition of hoard. When AC Moore went out of business, Squirrel and I got some stuff. Would you call it a hoard? My kids probably would. It's like a laundry basket, which isn't too big. It's a smaller one. Full of Ziploc bags full of floss. And I have a big stack of magazines. And I have been stocking up on bigger pieces of fabric. In that package that I described in one of my videos, I still have a plastic container full of fabric, but most of that is for smaller pieces. And so I go out now and I buy online, usually like 2 yards at a time. I mean, we can't go anywhere. So AC Moore is gone. We could have walked to AC Moore from where it is. It's supposed to become a Michael's, which would be fabulous, but who knows what's going to happen now. So we would have to drive like 20, 25 minutes to the mall and go to, there's a Joann's there and there's a Michael's there. So when we head out that way, we would usually like stock up on fabric. If they had some at Walmart, I would buy some. But we haven't been to Walmart either. We haven't been anywhere. So I would say I'm a mixture between. Because most of the time when I want to start a project, I don't have what I need. So I still got to buy it. But I have a small stash. Tiny, tiny. Floss, patterns, fabric. 8. What is your favorite floss? DMC, totally. And Rainbow Gallery for metallic. 9. Are you a serial starter or do you have a whip at a time? I used to be one at a time, and if I didn't finish it, I just didn't cross stitch. And I realized after finding cross stitching on the internet that was a bad idea. That I'm not one of those that's a serial starter where every new thing I get I have to start it. But I have just recently just started a lot of things that I wanted to do. I had like 16 projects started. I want to have them done within the next year. I'm not putting any pressure on myself. They're just for me and Coral. And the only one that has a time frame is I would like to have Coral Mermaid done by the end of April for her birthday. Rapunzel, that would be pushing it because she's a big one. But she knows I'm working on them, and she just wants to see me happy, and she knows I'm happy when I work on them. So I used to be one at a time, and then I did a bunch. I think it was in 17. And then I went, oh, this is a lot. I went back to one at a time. And then I started doing like, hang on. Oh, okay, so I started doing like 4 at a time. And now I've set myself up for 16. So we'll see how that goes. 10, do you have more FFOs or UFOs? I said this in another tag. I don't have UFOs. No, not for cross stitch. I don't start something and then not finish it. I finish it. Even if it has to sit there and wait. But I've learned to backstitch as you go because backstitching is sometimes boring if that's all you're doing. So I'm trying to do everything as I go, including beading. That way when I put that last stitch in, I am done. So no UFOs. FFOs, if you count that as being like in a frame or made into a pillow or an ornament, I don't have very many of them. I put all mine on cardboard and cover them in plastic and then just hang them on the wall. They're lighter than frames. If they fall, they're not going to break. If something happens, I can just hurry up and grab them all and put them in a box. So that's how I finish them. 11, do you watch TV while stitching? TV, YouTube videos, listen to audiobooks. Yeah. 12, I need some kind of noise behind me when I'm stitching. I can't just have thoughts. No. 12, do you mostly stitch alone or do you ever get together with someone to stitch? I've never gotten together with anybody to stitch. The closest would be watching a Stitch With Me video. So I'm always alone. I know no one that stitches. I've asked people, they don't do it. No, so just me. 13, do you like to experiment and alter things with your charts or do you stitch them just as written? Oh, I experiment all the time. I make mistakes and I have to just like fill in areas that shouldn't be filled in and make things bigger or whatever. I change colors. I do it the way I want to do it. It makes it mine. Do you bobbinate, floss, or not? 14. Yes, I bobbinate. Except for the silks that I have now, I've made floss drops. But DMC, yes, it gets bobbinated. 15. Do you start a project in the middle of your fabric or at the corner? Usually the middle, but lately I've been venturing out and starting it at the top left corner. I'm hoping it works out okay. I haven't finished anything yet that I've done that. I keep measuring to make sure I'm all right. And hang on. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do okay, but here's hoping. 16, do you have a whip rotation? Yep. 16. I've got 16 started. 17, do you use a timer or a timekeeper to keep track of how long it takes you to complete a project? No, but I do write down on a calendar what day I start and what day I finish. And that way I can estimate. I've been keeping a calendar lately and writing every day I stitch on what project. So when I'm doing one at a time, well, then every day has that project. But now that I'm starting other projects, I'm writing down what I work on that day, so that way I can keep track of how many days I work on stuff. And sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 4 hours, who knows. 18, do you use the parking technique? I tried, it's messy, I don't like it. No, I don't. 19, do you keep your orts? Yeah, I do, and I've been putting them in clear containers, clear, what do you call them, ornaments. Clear ornaments from the Dollar Tree. If I don't do that, I put them in a Ziploc bag and label it for the year and then just stash them. And 20, do you like having a snack or drink while stitching? Absolutely. And it don't matter what. Tea, juice, soda, water, hot chocolate. I eat Cheetos, Doritos, potato chips, popcorn, lunch, dinner, breakfast. I just keep a towel in my lap, wipe my hands off. Okay, that's it for that one.